Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of On the Beat. I'm Tony Alvera here with my beat writers Andrew John and Brett Gerardo. We're going to discuss this weekend's Colgate game as the rivalry is being renewed finally since 1987. We're also going to talk about a lot of college football news that is impacting Syracuse University this week, and also we're going to discuss just what are the ramifications and how exactly it's going to break down, and we're going to talk about that first. So first things first, the news this week is that the NCAA is kind of looking into the possibility that maybe some 5 and 7 and 6 and 6 teams will be able to get into BCS bowls. Not BCS bowls, but just the bowl system in general. So I'll throw it over to Andrew. Just what are the details exactly on it, and how will it kind of trickle down to SU, if it will, and just what's going on?
Well, I mean, coming into this season, we did know that only one of these FCS wins, assuming they win tomorrow against Colgate, we're going to count towards bowl eligibility. Most teams need six wins, 5 of them coming in FBS. Syracuse, because of the 2 FCS games that they have scheduled against Maine and Colgate, they would have needed to get to 7 and 7, and still currently that is the case. But with this new development, it's possible that they could get in with 6 and 6 and have 2 of those wins come against the FCS.
Right.
Yeah, it's just it's an interesting development because and to stress it, it is still hypothetical, but with USC's troubles this offseason, that's one more non-eligible team, and FBS teams have been struggling, I guess, historically against FCS teams. This year more so than historically. So this is why this is happening, and it's just there's not enough spots to fill all the bowls. That's the way it's looking like thus far. So there could be an opening there.
Basically, I mean, they bumped up in one bowl from 34 to 35, and I think there's a grand total of 84 wins that the FBS can get over the FCS, the lower division, this year. I was, of course, first reported in the San Diego Union Tribune, and because of that, there's 5 fewer wins there. USC is kind of the team that's almost certainly going to qualify for a bowl, and that's going to vacate an extra spot. And then just kind of fusing everything together, it's being discussed right now. It's hypothetical, but it could trickle down to SU, because if everything kind of falls into place, SU could be a team that's sitting at 6 and 5 heading into, or 5 and 6, or whatever it may be. Say they only beat Louisville and Colgate the rest of the way, the 2 teams they are favored over. They enter that BC game 5 and 6, and all of a sudden they're squarely on this newfound bowl bubble kind of, with a win over BC maybe sneaking them into some kind of a bowl because of the ramifications. So that's a greater context things fans need to be aware of. Kind of right now with SU football, and it was reported this week, and it's definitely interesting. And it remains to be seen, how it will work out. Of course, there's a lot of things that still need to go down, but it's definitely within the realm of possibility.
We might not even know until that Boston College game how everything's going to shake out. So that's why it's interesting, like you said today in the paper, about how it could be like a bubble situation.
I mean, that's the kind of thing I wrote in the paper today was, it's funny. I mean, Syracuse is this team that's had the trouble in the past with the basketball bubble in 2007, 2008, I believe it was, with Jim Boeheim kind of and the rest of the team, and just the city in general, and the town and the university was kind of in an uproar. How didn't we get in? And then USC is this team, the program that Darryl Gross used to be at. That's this team that's kind of messing things up. And then SU is this team that's playing these 2 kind of FCS teams. So it's weird how it all trickles down, and then and to finally maybe get back into a bowl after all of those kind of like what's going on here, Greg Robinson days. So but aside from that, we're gonna leave it at that with that bowl talk. It'll be interesting, and then we'll keep tabs on throughout the season and try to get the pulse of it from SU and the way they feel, the team and the players and the coaches. But to delve into this weekend Colgate, the rivalry's back. Chris Eisman wrote a tremendous piece on it, talking about everything that it encompassed. But for this weekend, it appears as if once again SU's a huge favorite over Colgate. So we're not going to focus as much on what SU needs to do to beat Colgate, because we think that that's almost a certainty. Of course, the first half last week was not what everyone expected, but. What do you think SU needs to prove in this game if they're going to be a contender in this shaky Big East?
I think the first thing is the offensive line. I think it's probably been the shakiest unit, at least for definitely for the offense, probably for the entire team. Just not opening holes for DeLon Carter and Antoine Bailey, not giving Ryan Nassib protection in the pocket, and he has to run out more than he probably should. and it's definitely been shaky so far. So I look for they have to dominate, against one of these FCS teams, or I mean, it makes me believe that it's not going to happen against Big East competition.
Yeah, and I think that they could come out and win by a couple touchdowns, maybe even 3-4 touchdowns, and still not have an impressive performance. And I think that they do need to come out, unlike last week against Maine, they need to come out and for 4 quarters really show some consistency heading into the bye week. That's going to be the most important thing. I really think one of the things that they're really going to need to shore up before they get into the Big East schedule is the pass defense and the secondary. Last year the defensive line and the linebackers really helped to make Syracuse one of the best run defenses in the country, and the passing defense was really a weakness, and we're starting to see a little bit of that creep in. So I think it's important for them to fix that before they head into Big East play.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have a bye week there. They're going to be pretty ready for South Florida, but the main thing is, unless they completely dominate this game, like you said, I don't think fans can really lead this game with any confidence that this team, other than a question mark. I think honestly what's going to happen is they're going to come out against Colgate. They're going to perform well. I think they're going to play much better than they did against Maine. But still, entering that game against South Florida is just going to be one big question mark, because of 2 things. One, the way SU's they handled that first half against Maine. They got trounced against Washington, and just overall kind of what they've been doing this year. They've been playing solid. They're going to be 3-1, best start since 2003, I believe. But still, it's just one big question mark. And then with the Big East and how just poor that's been. I mean, last night Pittsburgh, getting killed by Miami. I mean, fans, they're going to be all over the spectrum. They're going to be thinking, hey, maybe we can win this freaking thing because nobody's stepping up to the plate. But then again, it's like, we could be just in the cellar again with the way we've been playing, and we don't know how it's going to break down. So I think that the main thing is, yes, it's going to be a question mark leaving this game. It's going to be a question mark when Brett heads down to Tampa to cover the South Florida SU game, whatever it is, a little over 2 weeks from now. But with regards to this game, you guys hit the nail on the head. Just domination. That's the thing people should be expecting from the get-go. And just for me, things that need to be improved right away is just run blocking, way more so than pass blocking. They need to show that they can open up some holes for DeLon Carter and Antoine Bailey. As an offense, they need to get those 2 guys involved. Yes, Ryan Nassib has performed so well thus far this year. I think I think we wholeheartedly believe he's one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the Big East. But you need to get those guys involved if you're going to beat a team like West Virginia, Connecticut, South Florida if they ever hit their stride. And aside from that, just defensively, the mentality you've been talking about all year, guys. Let's see 60 minutes of it, hitting somebody in the mouth, punching them in the mouth, and we have not seen that yet. I mean, Akron, heck, they played well. First game of the season, they had a lot of preparation for it, but let's see 60 minutes of just hitting people. Just without a doubt, no stupid penalties. Walking that line of discipline and hitting people, and I think if we see that, there will be confidence that SU can compete against South Florida. But even with that, we're going to get to our predictions, and we're all picking SU big. Even if our predictions play out, I think there will be question marks heading into Tampa. So start, I guess, with Andrew. What's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm gonna go big, like you said. I'm gonna go 42-17 Syracuse. I know it's tempting to pick it to be a close game. I think it would be a lot of fun if it were a close game, especially with the rivalry being renewed. But I really do think that Syracuse will clean up some of the mistakes they made against Maine. I don't think it'll be a perfect game for them, but I think that they will play better, and ultimately that will show on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm picking Syracuse 37-17. I don't think it will really be close, all the way. And again, Tony, like you said, they'll be 3-1 after their best start since 2003, but we still really don't know what this team is yet, and we won't know for another 2 weeks. So it's a little weird, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, I expect SU to win this game big.
Yeah, you mentioned the word weird. You mentioned a word last week that I think fits in here. I don't know if we want to say troubling, but it has to be somewhat troubling. You're going to enter. It's going to be the 6th week of the season, and most fans and just I guess pundits at large, even if it matters, but most people, and I think even the players themselves might even be wondering, how good are we actually?
Yeah.
We played Colgate, we played Maine. Maine didn't score against Albany. Colgate was just killed by Furman. They were defeated by another team. How good are we when we're going to go down to Tampa and we're going to play a South Florida team that smacked us in the mouth last year?
Well, I think it's interesting because last time Syracuse did start 3-1 was 2003, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
They started out 3-1, and then in the 5th week, they went down to Virginia Tech and got blown out. and then they ended up finishing 6-6. So they, the hot start obviously doesn't guarantee they're going to have a good season or a great season, I should say. 6-6 I guess would be a good season, but they could start out 3-1 and then really have a difficult time, and so it's very important for them to really use this bye week to get ready for the Big East.
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, the season really hasn't started, and just to finish up the prediction, my prediction's 44-10 SU over Colgate. So all three of us are picking them big. Brett, you're giving, I guess, the most credibility to this newfound rival Colgate. But just for this weekend, Andrew and I will be in the Dome with all the coverage and access that you need. We'll have your live tweet updates. We'll be, providing the text message service again with your updates at halftime at the end of the game. Obviously, we'll have coverage for you right as the game ends, and then later that night, and then also, obviously, Monday in the print edition of the Daily Orange's newspaper, in the sports section, we'll have everything you need from the Colgate game. And make sure also to check out the In the Huddle that we produced last night. We were here until 7 a.m. Andrew still hasn't slept yet at all. 28 pages of everything you need to know. We got 2 interviews, scouting with Antoine Bailey. We got a question and answer with Alec Lemon. We got a notebook. We got a column. We got a 3-way blog rebuttal. It's just around the nation, around the Big East, the pregame graphics, predictions, everything you guys need, along with Andrew's, of course, A1 story on the Colgate rivalry and what it's going to be like this weekend. So be sure to check out all that. Of course, another On the Beat will be ready for you guys Sunday night when we get back in here, 7:44 Ostrom. But for now, we're going to sign off for Andrew John, Brett Gerardo, Tony Olivero. Be sure to check back in tomorrow. Thanks, guys.